Assalamualaikum and good greetings. So I have just watched the video by Liz Choice titled Things You Didn't Know Muslims Invented. That was the video before this, and if you haven't watched that one, feel free to watch that one before watching this one if you wish. Now, in that video, she highlighted some Muslim scientists from the Muslim Golden Ages, which is the same period where in the West it is still in the Dark Ages. Now, and she did mention in the beginning of the video that this is as an exposure to those who are in the West that are not exposed to that information, and it may change your worldview if you know that during the Dark Ages of the Western civilization, it is at that particular time, it is the golden ages of the Muslim civilization, and the Muslim scientists have already, contributed a significant amount to the advancement of science and technology, which, of course, the Western civilization, when they go up and the Muslim civilization unfortunately decline, they continue off from that point onwards, right, until we have all the science and technology today. But the starting point is before the Western civilization even become, the civilization. So many of what we know today, it has started much earlier, and the Muslim scientists have significant contribution, and that is highlighted in that video. Now, what is the importance of this information? Now, to the Western audience, I think it is important because it will open up your worldview, especially if you are not aware of that fact beforehand, right? And it will change the way you look at things, right? Especially for those who have the perception that Islamic faith or Islamic teaching is contradicting or is not in line with or is not putting emphasis on scientific discoveries. Right, so it will change your at least the basic assumption, because that happened. So how to understand it? And many of the Muslim scientists is also well versed in the Islamic jurisprudence, in Islamic scholarship, etc. So that's one thing. And I think what she is doing, for example, Liz Choice, a revert in the West that is exposing this information, I think it serves a purpose, important purpose there. Now, at the same time, within the Muslim community, within the Muslim nation, this information is also important for those who are not aware of those information. I have encountered many Muslim youth in my country, in Malaysia, that didn't even realize that Islam was once a superpower. Islam was once the civilization that have the best, most advanced scientific discoveries, etc. at that particular time. They didn't even know that, and they always think, because we are born into our current reality and we think Muslim countries are always backward. Some of the youth, because that's the reality that they are born into. Me as well, right? But I have been exposed to this information, and it changed my perspective and paradigm. So that, meaning this kind of information and exposure can shift the or change the paradigm to a new one, to a better one. Yes, that is important. However, after that awareness, then we have something to do, right? Because some Muslim then stuck in that nostalgic state where, wow, when some issues, see, Muslim used to, right? So that's the default go-to, right? Muslim used to contribute this much. Muslim used to contribute towards the advancement of science and technology. Muslim have many scientists, scholars that have contributed to what we are still using now, etc., etc., etc. Yes, that is true. Yes, that is important to open up the paradigm. However, to be stuck in a nostalgic state and always have that information being brought up, just to feel nostalgic is a problem, in my opinion, right? Because that shouldn't be the case. For it to be an inspiration for us to bring back the previous glory days, that's okay, that's good. But to not do anything, but stuck in a nostalgic, you know, not to say imagination, but the nostalgia back then, and just to feel good about ourselves when we are in a dire state. World, meaning if you zoom out in the world stage, the Muslim Ummah is in a terrible condition. It's a bad shape, right? So if we let it continue to be that way, while continue to use the nostalgia to feel good about ourselves, that's a problem. That is a problem. Now, we should emulate what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba have started, even if they started from ground zero, right? Meaning that at that time, Muslims are very small in number at the beginning, and then the number grows. But in terms of civilization, if you zoom out in the world map, they are nothing. But they have started something that significantly grew until the golden ages. So even if we are back to square one, which we are back 50 years, 100 years, it is almost we are back to square one. But effort have been made until now. Today we have some Muslim countries that is in a averagely good state, meaning we are not from zero. We have gained our independence, we have our own government, blah blah blah, but we still have a lot of problems. But we have started, meaning our previous generation have started something, and we should continue the trajectory and not being in this dreamland where, especially those who come from countries that are doing quite well financially. Like there are Muslim countries that are rich from oil. There are Muslim countries like Malaysia that quite well in the sense that we have our economic, etc. Right? But there are still a lot of Muslim countries that still a bit behind. But in terms of culture, in terms of our contribution towards the betterment of humankind from science and technology and etc. other field of knowledge, we are still much behind nowadays, and there's a lot more that we should be doing. Not to mention what's the word? Jati diri. In Malaysia we have the word jati diri. The izzah of being a Muslim, that we feel we should contribute to the world, right? Just like before, which is one of the factors that leads them to actually contribute significantly to the world. That's part of our job, other than actually shed light towards the truth, bring people back to the truth, right? So those go hand in hand because one helps the other, right? If we let people continue to be in the dark or in a dire state, right? For example, if we let some people continue in a very, very poor condition, and we hope that, or we expect them to have the time to discover the truth, etc., it is not fair, right? So they have to be helped to get out of their poverty, for example, to be able to have the time, energy, resources to discover truth. If someone, the time that they have is only is only sufficient to find ways to put food on the table, it is not fair for them to be expected to spend time to discover the truth, etc., right? So that's where the societal aspect is significantly important. Even if we are talking about da'wah, we're talking about bring the truth to the people, etc. And in Muslim society, that's embedded directly in our responsibility. Hopefully we are doing that, and we are shifting towards doing that. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry, because this video is just spontaneously, I want to share this after watching that video by Liz Choice, and it's not really I haven't drafted any point, etc. It's just sharing, so towards the end is like all over the place. But I hope what I'm trying to share, or the sentiment that I feel, it is one, I hope it is founded on you know, a solid foundation, and it's true. And second, it resonates to many others out there, inshallah. And third, hopefully we do something of significance. If anything that I didn't mention but is also important, feel free to share in the comment, or if you have counter perspective, perhaps feel free to share as well. With that, thank you for watching. See you next time.